Hey guys, this is Sankyu and it's been a year since I made this video about Apple Music versus Spotify, and there have been a lot of things that have happened in the last 1 year. So in this video, I'm going to be comparing both once again, and I'm going to say which is a better option in 2022. So let's go. But anyways, the main takeaway from this video should be that one can be marginally better than the other for someone and not for the other person. So this video is to help you decide which is better for you, whether it's Apple Music or Spotify. And I'll talk about which one I use and which is a better option for my use case in the end of this video. But for this comparison, I'm going to be talking about the pricing, region availability, device support, features, sound quality, and finally, the overall UI design. There are chapters below to easily navigate through the video, but with that said, let's start out with pricing. Both are priced similarly in US, but prices for both are usually different on other regions. In some, Apple Music is cheaper and in the others, Spotify is cheaper. So for the sake of this comparison, I'll be taking prices from both US and India, and maybe I'll include prices from Europe. But before the prices, let's talk about the plans that exist. Apple Music has a voice plan, which I'll talk about in a hot minute, the student plan, individual plan, and the family plan, with the student and voice plan being the cheapest and the family plan with the best value. So let's talk about the voice plan, and it's basically a new addition and it's priced very similarly to the student plan. It's only available in 17 regions currently, and in this plan, everything can be only controlled by Siri. You can only use this on Apple products, unlike the other plans which let you use it on almost everything, and you cannot manage or download music at all. If you want to play a specific music or a playlist, you gotta speak out a Siri command, and there is no spatial or lossless audio support. So I would honestly not recommend this plan to anyone unless you're someone who wants a music streaming service without any ads, or you don't care about managing your library at all. Who doesn't really care about managing their library though? That's kind of weird. Now let's take a look at Spotify. Spotify has a free plan, the student plan, individual plan, and the family plan. But it doesn't end there. There's a duo plan which is useful if you want to share Spotify with just another person. In regions like India, there are a lot of flexible plans for Spotify Premium. You can have Spotify Premium for a day or a week, compared to paying monthly for a subscription. But the most important thing here is that Spotify is actually free, if you're ready to put up with the ads and you're fine with not downloading tracks when you're offline. This is at least way better in my opinion compared to Apple Music's voice plan, or there is no free plan at Apple Music at all, so yeah, come on. So here's a price breakdown in dollars and Indian rupees, and I'm also including euro prices as well. But as I said, pricing differs for each region, so make sure to take a look at them for your region specifically. Before I end this pricing section, one important thing with Apple Music is that once you stop paying for your subscription, you lose all the music you have, including your library and playlists. And the only way to get that back is to pay for a subscription once again. Whereas with Spotify, even if you stop paying for a subscription, you'll still retain your liked music and your playlists. So in that case, Spotify does take the win for pricing. You don't lose your library collection once you stop paying, in case you want to switch to a different platform, or you don't want to pay for a music streaming service at all. Fair point for Spotify, to be honest. Now let's talk about region availability. And Apple Music is available on 187 countries, while Spotify is only available in 184 countries. Not a big difference, but for so long Spotify was available on a handful of regions. Seems like Spotify is closing the gap on this one. So I will leave links to these two websites which will let you check if Spotify is available on your region or not. And this one's a tie between both as they are available on both the regions. Next up, device support. And yes, both Apple Music and Spotify support all the major platforms, unless you choose the voice plan on Apple Music. But in either case, Spotify is the winner here actually. Spotify is available on a lot more platforms such as PlayStation, the Alexa, Samsung Tizen, and many more. And it works well with all the voice assistants, including Siri. So if you do live in the Apple ecosystem, and if you use an iPhone and the Apple Watch, or if you use an iPhone and the iPad, I would say you should go for Apple Music. But if you don't, go ahead with Spotify as it works on almost everything. Probably even your toaster. If you're enjoying this video, a sub to the channel would be music to my ears. Did I just copy Mr. Who's the Boss? Yes. Now let's get to the juicy stuff, which is features, and honestly, there are a lot of similarities between both. So they both have real-time lyrics, curated playlists, robust search, and that's where I would say the similarities end. First, let's start it with Spotify. Spotify has no limit on its library, meaning you can have as many songs as you want on your library, whereas Apple Music does have a limit of 100,000 songs. It's not something that's to be worried about right now, but eventually in a few years, as you accumulate your library with songs, you may hit the threshold with Apple Music. Okay, this is probably a very underrated feature, but I feel that switching between devices is smoother on Spotify. For some reason, Apple Music lacks any sort of continuity between devices, but on Spotify, you can quickly switch between your phone and laptop. And as a bonus, you can even control the playback from your phone. It's a pretty neat feature, not gonna lie. Spotify also has way more social features. Now you can check on what your friends are listening to on both Apple Music and Spotify, but it doesn't stop there for Spotify. You can create playlists unique to you and your friends called Spotify Blend. This was recently introduced alongside Spotify Wrapped and it's a pretty good addition, not gonna lie. Speaking of which, let's talk about Spotify Wrapped. Spotify Wrapped is probably going to be such a cool feature. Now yes, Apple Music does have yearly repeat, but it's nowhere as good as Spotify Wrapped. It presents itself on an Instagram story format and it shows different stats from your listening habits. In my opinion, it's very intuitive. But the most important thing here is that Spotify has the best music recommendation ever. There is no comparison to how good Spotify's music recommendation is. Sure, Apple Music does have some good recommendations, but I'm often left confused with what do I get with Apple Music. But with Spotify, it's very consistent with the genre. And also, the little things like Daily Mix or Discover Weekly. These are some really good curated playlists from Spotify and they're usually filled with a lot of good music that you might have missed out on. But let's talk about Apple Music as well, because they also have a lot of great features. One of my favorite features of Apple Music is gotta be spatial audio, hands down. And the reason why is it truly does change the way you listen to music. And I made an entire video about it which you can watch by clicking here. But it truly does sound way better and way more immersive than stereo audio. And one of my favorite albums is gotta be Dawn FM. It sounds truly amazing on spatial audio. Now Weeknd's older songs also sound amazing on spatial audio like Heartless, Call Out My Name or Starboy. And when I first heard these old songs in spatial audio, it truly felt different in my opinion. But anyways, as I said in the beginning, spatial audio truly does change the way you listen to music, and I'm not going to change my point about that. And it doesn't stop there with spatial audio. Alongside it, there's also lossless audio, which I'll delve more into during the sound quality section. But the gist of it is that if you do have good quality headphones, your music is gonna sound way better than you think. Next up, let's talk about lyrics. As I said, both do have lyrics, but Apple Music does have a way more interactive and accurate lyric feed compared to Spotify. And finally, Apple Music is well known for making exclusive deals with artists like Drake, Weeknd or Taylor Swift for early content release. Whew, that was a long one. And I would say it's a tie because both have good features overall and it's more of a personal preference. Moving on, now we have sound quality and this hands down goes to Apple Music. Until Spotify comes out with their hi-fi tier, but even in that case, it still goes to Apple Music, and here's why. First up, there's support for lossless audio on Apple Music. If you're some audiophile, then you'll love Apple Music since you get up to 24-bit streaming, and it's not just that. Spatial audio, as I talked about earlier, does make music sound a whole lot better as well. It's supported on all Apple products and the Android version of Apple Music does support it, but I've also listened songs through both an iPhone and an Android phone, and the Dolby Atmos experience sounds way better on an iPhone. And also, if you have the third generation AirPods, AirPods Pro or AirPods Max, there's dynamic head tracking support as well. It does feel weird to listen to music on, but I really don't know why it's even included for music. It makes way more sense for movies than music, but it's there if you really prefer it. But not all songs are made with Dolby Atmos in mind, but it's ever increasing and there are a lot more tracks than how much were there in the beginning. But here's the catch. Many truly wireless earphones like AirPods only support AAC, which only streams at up to 256 kilobits per second, and to experience the higher bitrate, you would either need earphones which support LDAC or aptX, or get a wired connection to your iPhone to experience lossless audio. But big props to Apple for including lossless and spatial audio support at no additional cost to the regular subscription. Spotify's hi-fi tier is supposed to be an additional cost compared to the regular plan. This section clearly goes to Apple Music by a long shot. Now let's get to the last part of this video, which is the overall user interface. Now both of them do have a really good user interface, but they do have their own quirks with them and it'll be mostly your own personal preference in my opinion. I personally prefer the way Spotify looks since it's very consistent between platforms and the app looks the same between both Android and iOS, and this flows over to the Windows and macOS clients as well, which more or less look very similar. Whereas Apple Music looks really clean and minimal on the iPhone and iPad, but as soon as you switch over to the Android app, things look sorta consistent with the iOS version, but it does feel like an Android app that was made around 2016. Still, I'm happy that they do support the newer features like lossless or spatial audio. But the desktop clients are very clunky. The macOS client is out of place compared to the iOS counterparts. The search function is often broken and it's very unresponsive and buggy. I've often seen a lot of people complain about the macOS version of Apple Music. It's very inconsistent. The Windows version, however, gets even worse. It lacks most of the newer features like lossless audio, it has a lot of missing features, and it's still based on iTunes. But most importantly, I feel that Spotify UI is laid out in a way that it gives you instant access to your own content, whether it be daily mix or a recent album, and you have quick access to your listening history as well. Overall, I'm gonna give this to Spotify as it looks way clean and intuitive. Apple Music is clean as well, but if you use it on an iPhone or an iPad, the experience is good. But the other clients are just very messy on their own ways. Okay, so we are at the end of this video and here's my personal pick, and it's gotta be Apple Music since spatial audio truly does change the way you listen to music, and even lossless audio, which sometimes does make the sound really good. And I've heard from a lot of people who use Apple Music and they say that they do notice a difference between lossless audio and highly compressed audio. I've been paying for an Apple Music subscription for more than a year and I feel like I'll be sticking with it for the foreseeable future. But if you really don't care about spatial audio or lossless audio, then I'd say go with Spotify since, in my opinion, it's the most fun to use option. I feel like Apple Music lacks a lot of social integration and it kind of feels boring when you don't know what your friends are really listening to, or combining playlists between both your friends, which I find really amazing on Spotify. I still use Spotify on a few occasions to discover new music since their algorithm is 10 times better than Apple Music's. And stuff like Spotify Blend are truly amazing. It does bring a lot of songs that you and your friends listen together, which is actually good. But anyways, that's been it. Thank you for watching. This is Thank You, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace. Man, why are cars randomly coming into the video?